Let's transport ourselves back to a time when pharaohs reigned supreme and majestic pyramids kissed the sky. A time of golden sands and sparkling Nile, of gods and hieroglyphs, of mummies and tombs. In this video, we will give you a complete tour of the great ancient civilization, uncovering its secrets and exploring everything there is to know about ancient Egypt. Also, we will talk about the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. So don't skip the video. Ancient Egypt sprung to life around 3100 BC, a time when the realms of Upper and Lower Egypt were unified under the rule of one Menes, most commonly associated with the legendary pharaoh, Narmer. What follows is an intriguing tapestry of history, woven with periods of unprecedented stability and prosperity, known as the kingdoms, the Old, the Middle, and the New, punctuated by brief intermissions of turbulence, the intermediate periods. The Old Kingdom marks the early Bronze Age, a time when Egypt's grandeur was all stones and pyramids. The Middle Kingdom, marking the Middle Bronze Age, saw a resurgence of central authority and artistic renaissance. The Late Bronze Age showed an era of imperialistic expansion and monumental architecture. The Nile has long been the axis around which the history of ancient Egypt evolved. It is a vibrant, pulsating vein that has irrigated the thirst of human civilization from time immemorial. The river's fertile floodplains were a veritable Garden of Eden, offering our forebears the chance to transition from nomadic hunters to settled agriculturists. In the arms of the Nile, it was here that the humans sowed the seeds of a sophisticated, centralized society that would eventually become a cornerstone in the history of civilization. Here are the periods of ancient Egypt that you should remember. The Predynastic Period in ancient Egypt, lasting at least 2,000 years, signified the Egyptian civilization's maturation. Communities transitioned from hunting to agriculture, leading to advancements in various fields, a recognition of the deceased initiated beliefs in the afterlife. Around 3400 BC, two kingdoms were formed near the Fertile Crescent, the northern Red Land, possibly reaching Atfi, and the southern White Land extending from Atfi to Gebel Essel Sila. The unification began with a southern king, Scorpion, around 3200 BC. But it wasn't until King Menes defeated the north a century later that the entire country came under one rule, marking the start of the First Dynasty. Archaic Period. The Archaic Period in ancient Egypt saw several significant advancements under the rule of King Menes. After the Red and White Land unification, Memphis was established as the capital and became the heart of Egyptian society. During this period, the king was seen as a divine entity, an embodiment of the god Horus, and his rule was considered a divine mandate. This period also introduced the earliest known hieroglyphic writing, adding to the rich Egyptian cultural tapestry. Despite these royal and cultural advancements, most of the Egyptian population were farmers, whose lives were intertwined with the patterns of the Nile River. Their agricultural cycles, dictated by the river's annual flooding, formed the backbone of the Egyptian economy and played a crucial role in shaping the narrative of the Archaic Period. Old Kingdom. The Old Kingdom of ancient Egypt was a period of prosperity and architectural mastery, kicked off by the Third Dynasty pharaohs. During this era, circa 2630 BC, King Djoser commissioned the ingenious Imhotep to design a monumental stone building, the Step Pyramid at Saqqara, the world's first significant stone structure. The apex of pyramid building was reached with the Great Pyramid at Giza, an illustrious creation for Khufu, which has been known as one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. This period witnessed sustained peace, economic prosperity, and a well-structured central government under the pharaohs. However, the kingdom fell into turmoil by the end of the Sixth Dynasty. The immense burden of pyramid construction and the rising influence of the nobility and the priesthood associated with the sun god Ra led to the depletion of the pharaoh's power and wealth, culminating in the end of the Old Kingdom. First Intermediate Period. Around 2160 BC, Egypt plunged into a civil war, fueled by Bedouin incursions, famine, and disease. During this tumultuous First Intermediate Period, two formidable kingdoms emerged, one straddling Middle Egypt under the Heracleopolitan rule, and another rising in Thebes. The wheel of fortune turned in favor of thieves when, in 2055 BC, Prince Mentuhotep toppled Heracleopolis, restoring unity to Egypt and heralding the 11th dynasty. Middle Kingdom. After a royal assassination marked the end of the 11th dynasty, a power shift saw the throne inherited by Vizier Amenemhet I, birthing the 12th dynasty. Egypt encountered an era of resurgence, akin to the Old Kingdom's glory, with the capital relocated to Jawi. The Middle Kingdom, a monument of progression, saw its kings ensure dynastic continuity by crowning successors as co-regents, starting with Amenemhet I. Exuding diplomatic prowess, Egypt fortified relations with Syria, Palestine, and beyond, while warding off Bedouin intruders. It rediscovered its pyramid-building roots, engaging in ambitious infrastructure initiatives, and exploited the bounties of colonized Nubia. However, the zenith under Amenemhet III gave way to a decline that persisted under Amenemhet IV and rolled into the reign of Queen Sobekne Pharaoh, the first proven female pharaoh and the last ruler of the 12th dynasty. Second Intermediate Period. As the 13th dynasty unfolded, Egypt entered a phase marked by the quick succession of kings who struggled to establish their authority. This period, referred to as the Second Intermediate Period, saw Egypt splinter into several influential spheres, with the official royal court and government relocated to Thebes. Concurrent with the 13th dynasty, a rival dynasty emerged in the city of Zoes, in the Nile Delta. Around 1650 BC, foreign rulers known as the Hyksos seized control. These rulers of the 15th dynasty adopted and perpetuated 7 Egyptian traditions in governance and culture. They ruled side by side with the native Theban rulers of the 17th dynasty, who managed to retain control over most of southern Egypt, albeit under the obligation of paying taxes to the Hyksos. A conflict eventually erupted between the two groups around 1570 BC, resulting in the Thebans expelling the Hyksos from Egypt. New Kingdom. As the 18th dynasty ascended, Egypt, under the rule of Ahmose I, saw an era of unification and international prowess. Far-reaching military campaigns saw Egypt clashing with the Mycenaeans and stretching her mighty empire from Nubia to the Euphrates River. The nation reveled in the influence of powerful kings and queens, from the remarkable Queen Hatshepsut, who rose to wield all the powers of a pharaoh, to the controversial Amenhotep IV, who ushered in a religious revolution, disrupting the traditional worship and shifting focus to the sun god, Aten. This tempestuous era, punctuated by the restoration of an embattled Egyptian empire and grand architectural feats, likely saw the biblical exodus of Moses and the Israelites during the rule of Ramses II. Deep inside the Valley of the Kings, these rulers found their final resting places, their rock-cut tombs, a testament to their grandeur. Despite bouts of foreign invasions and economic depletion, the last great king, Ramses III, left behind a splendid mortuary temple, a beacon of the prosperity Egypt still enjoyed during his reign. The Third Intermediate Period of Egypt, spanning the next 400 years, was marked by significant political, cultural, and societal shifts. Central authority waned as local officials rose to prominence, and foreigners from Libya and Nubia established their power, leaving an enduring impact on Egypt's populace. The 22nd dynasty, initiated around 945 BC by King Shashank, a Libyan descendant, saw many rulers essentially operate autonomously, with the 23rd and 24th dynasties poorly documented. By the 8th century BC, Nubian kings established the 25th dynasty at Thebes, leading to clashes with the burgeoning Assyrian Empire. In 671 BC, Assyrian ruler Esarhaddon expelled Kushite king Taharka and ravaged Memphis, appointing his loyalists as rulers. Necho of Sais briefly ruled as the first king of the 26th dynasty, only to be slain by Kushite leader Tenuta-Tmun in an unsuccessful power struggle. Later period to Alexander's conquest. Post the reign of Necho's son, Psammetichus, Egypt, for a brief period, came under the Said dynasty, which lasted less than 2 centuries. The Battle of Pelusium in 525 BC marked the downfall of the last Said king, Psammetichus III, handing Egypt over to the Persian Empire. Persian rulers, particularly Darius, maintained religious harmony and infrastructural developments. However, the oppressive reign of Xerxes incited numerous uprisings. One such rebellion led to a brief period of Egyptian independence under native rulers by 404 BC. Yet, the Persian Empire regained control under Artaxerxes III in 343 BC. A decade later, Alexander the Great's conquest marked a new era, followed by the rule of his general Ptolemy and his successors. Cleopatra VII, the final ruler of Ptolemaic Egypt, handed Egypt over to Octavian's armies in 31 BC. The ensuing 6 centuries of Roman rule witnessed the rise of Christianity, and the Arab conquest in the 7th century AD introduced Islam, marking the end of ancient Egypt culture and the beginning of its modern form. Now, let's talk about the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. Osiris, the god of the underworld, symbolizes death, resurrection, and the cycle of Nile floods, vital for Egypt's agricultural fertility. His wife, Isis, a figure of great importance, epitomizes the traditional virtues of a wife and mother. She resurrected Osiris after his murder by Seth, his brother, and together they conceived Horus. Isis's cult spread across the Greco-Roman world, influencing Christian imagery of Mary with Jesus. Horus, depicted as a falcon or a man with a falcon's head, embodies divine kingship and is associated with war and hunting. He is believed to have lost his eye in a fight with Seth, explaining the moon's phases. Seth, the god of chaos, violence, and storms, offers an enigma as scholars remain uncertain about his animal depiction. Ta, the head of Memphis's divine triad, holds patronage over craftsmen and builders. The goddess Hathor symbolizes motherhood and fertility and is believed to protect women during childbirth. And now, the cat goddess Bastet, associated with the Greek goddess Artemis, transformed from a fearsome lioness into a majestic domestic cat over the centuries. So, this was all about ancient Egypt and its history, from the powerful pharaohs to grand architectural feats, and from the gods and goddesses to foreign rulers. This ancient civilization has left behind a rich and varied legacy that still captivates us today. If you enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Also, let us know in the comments if you want to see more videos on similar topics. Goodbye until next time.